Everybody ready?
Yeah,
Should we do a countdown? Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
I'm gonna hit this blunt in the meantime.
Wear my Jennifer's Body T-shirt or baseball tee.
I love it. Sorry, I was on mute.
It's great. I
You know
love
what's funny to me?
What?
Cece and Jess were so convinced that the Raglan t-shirts, because they were white, were going to be a bad idea
Yeah.
because you couldn't see the a horror podcast part on it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. You know, it'll be really good on a Raglan shirt. So I get it, and I actually put it on. I'm like, look, see, you can see it just fine. It's just fine. And I'm like,
Yeah.
she fought me tooth and nail because I wanted a Raglan t-shirt, and she didn't want to buy
Yeah.
me a Raglan t-shirt.
Dude, the T-shirts from T Public are great. Like
Yeah.
they feel.
Well, I
they feel
mean,
wonderful.
I've never had a hard Raglan t-shirt. They're always super soft.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Rip.
Oh, I'm gonna go grab something while.
Well,
For a second.
while uh, Kyrick
right
over
back.
here is working on their technical difficulties. I guess Cece just dipped out and left us alone, fucking Kyle. She said, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
I'm not here for your shitty Resident Evil debate. Alright, cool. Got scared for a second, went to go check my page, thought I saw my bit rate drop, and I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
No, it literally like plateaued at a set point. So I was like, oh no, I'm losing signal or whatever because it was going up and down. And I
Yeah.
thought that it just like flatlined, it was not good.
Okay. Let me know. You guys aren't like starting just yet, right?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I mean, we gotta wait for Kyrick
Davis.
to finish setting up their mic.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah, I love it.
That's the front, and then this is the back.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't in black and white though. Like
Yeah.
because it makes it very hard to see the like sacrificial building. Or whatever the fuck it is called.
Yeah. No.
I told you, didn't I? A couple
Is
weeks
that
ago.
the new one?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was at
Oh my
Target.
God.
I like screamed when I found it. I was like, what?
That's amazing. I gotta get that.
And I just found out today that apparently there is a Mecha Godzilla NECA
Yeah.
figure. And I fucking want it so bad.
Yeah. Obviously, you know this one.
Okay, I should be able to be heard now
Did,
on the actual stream itself.
Okay.
It has a Victor Crowley one came out yet?
Yes.
Not on this yet.
Nice.
Oh wait, that's coming out soon. Didn't they like push back the?
Yeah.
release of it?
Victor Crowley
Yeah.
got pushed back to this month.
I need to pre-order it.
It's already. I don't know where to pre-order it because everywhere I've seen it was sold. I forgot
Yeah.
these were in the bag with those, and I haven't eaten them.
That's funny.
Okay, I need to bring up. I'm such a terrible streamer.
That's okay. I'm no better.
We're all professionals here.
Yep,
You
totally.
know this exact one, Kyle?
Which one? Yeah.
Okay.
Gunner, stop it.
I just want all the Power Ranger stuff right now. I was looking at like some of like the Megazords because I have the Dragon Zord.
Oh,
So I was
yeah.
looking at getting the actual Dino Megazord and Titanus with it.
Yeah.
And like they're so stupid expensive. To get like the Legacy Megazord, it's like $400.
Damn. Since you and Davis are also both huge Power Ranger fans, if this debate goes good, y'all can do Power Rangers next.
That'd be
Oh my
fun.
God.
I mean, I am currently in the most like state of nirvana, I guess, because I just found out that Verve has the entire Sentai series all the way up to what is Power Rangers Wild Force. So they have Power Rangers in Space, Power Rangers Turbo, Lost Galaxy, Lightspeed Rescue, Time Force, and Wild Force. So I'm so fucking happy. I'm just like trying to burn through the Turbo one because it's not good.
Nope.
Yeah, Turbo's
Are
Well,
we ready, guys?
I like the American Turbo. I just didn't like. I don't like Japan's Turbo at all.
All right,
Like
everybody ready?
they got their powers from like the constellations lining up like cars or some shit. It was really fucking weird.
All right, y'all ready?
Yeah. We can go ahead and start. I'm still doing some things on the side, but I can do it and talk at the same time.
All right, Kyle,
Everybody ready?
you know more
Yep.
than me. I'm just here to.
Should we do a countdown or anything?
I mean, we've already started at this point.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Welcome.
everyone who is watching the live stream right now, welcome. We're doing a Resident Evil debate. We're going to talk about the games and the movies between Teddy and Kyrick, who are two of the biggest Resident Evil fans I know. So I thought this would be a fun idea to get both of them together and talk Resident Evil.
Yeah, this will be like my. Cece was saying this the other day. This is like my third thing in like the past like 6 months talking about Resident Evil.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It really is.
I think you had some kind of podcast or something where you talked about it, and then Kyle was telling me all about it, and I was like, okay, yeah, maybe. I don't know about that, So this will be fun.
So Cece and I the Scream Queens had me on to do the Resident Evil movie. The Resident Evil movies, we were talking about that as well as some of the games. Then there was me going on the podcast to talk with Kirby and Simone. Now this. So actually, it's technically going 4.
There we
Resident Evil things.
Yeah. All right. So
Hi, Kat and Zach.
hey, Kat. Hey, Zach.
Hello, Zach. Hello, Kat.
Now, if any of the viewers have any questions, drop them in anybody's chat, and I'm sure we'll get to them.
Yeah.
Crap.
I guess before we get started, let's just go over a little history with your history with the genre. We'll start with you, Davis. How'd you get started in being a fan of Resident Evil, either by the games or movies?
I don't know exactly when or what, but I know I believe it was my uncle, because that's where, my former uncle, that's where most of my gaming knowledge, I guess, came from. I want to say he rented it or bought it or something like that, and I played it, probably way too young to be playing it at the time, and liked it, and just followed the series ever since.
Yeah, I mean that's probably how I think that's how I got into it as well. Just like the series, just played it probably way too young and just fell in love with it. All right, let's go with you, Teddy. How'd you get started in Resident Evil?
So it's actually a very similar story. My mom's fiance, he introduced me to Resident Evil 2 at the time. I played it at first. I didn't really like it. Died within like the first couple of minutes of playing it because I was that bad back in the day. Then I kind of looped back around to it when Resident Evil 3 Nemesis came out. I at that point in time was reading the Resident Evil books. I was playing all the games that I could. I went back and beat 1 and 2. So like Resident Evil 3, like once I like really sunk my teeth into it, was like when I really started to follow it. Because like I said, I died within like the first minutes of playing 2, and I was like, this is kind of stupid. I'm gonna go play Final Fantasy.
Okay, I don't think I've read the books. I've just played the games and watched the movies. Davis, have you read any of the books?
A bit of the first one, and actually the novelization of the third movie.
Yeah,
What
I
would
read.
you say, Eddie?
I read. Oh, I was saying. I read the entire like SD Perry franchise.
Okay. Might have to. Could you recommend it to fans to check out?
So, I personally say yes. My friend Steven would say no. There
Okay.
were things that a few of the books that came out are original stories that just have the Resident Evil characters in them. So they're not really tied to main canon. They
Yeah.
were considered canon by Capcom. So like those things did happen. Um, but like they took like liberties in adding new characters that weren't necessarily there before. Um, like there's a character and his name's Trent, and he's like the shadow hand that runs like everything secretly. Like he's the reason why Wesker survived the Tyrant attack in the first one, and why he came back in Code Veronica all fucking jacked out and freaking, full of T virus. So
Yep.
like they introduced characters like that, that I personally find very interesting. Um, my friend Steven, like I said, he would disagree and find that character was completely unnecessary. But I personally, yes, I would recommend it to anybody who is. They're not super long novels. I would say they don't go past maybe like 400 pages. Uh,
All
the
right.
the detail in them is really good. Like it's really descriptive, and um, it essentially establishes like a canon lore of like the progression of the games, because it doesn't make you choose between only seeing like Chris and only seeing Jill in the Spencer estate. It goes back and forth between them so you can see what they were doing both at the same time. They did the same thing with Leon and Claire in City of the Dead, which is Resident Evil 2. Um, so they did a really good job with like weaving it all in together and making it work as like moving chess pieces versus like, oh, this person's off screen, they fucked off until suddenly they're back now. You're muted, Kyle.
So professional. Yeah. Okay. I'll have to, I may have to check it out though.
Yeah, they're pretty cheap too. They're like $6 each.
Okay. Nice. All right. Well.
Or you could do like I did and like find some PDFs.
Jack Sparrow it.
Yes. All right. So I guess we won't keep any of the viewers waiting any longer. I guess so like I said before, we're gonna start chronological order. We're gonna start with Resident Evil 1 that was released on March 22nd, 1996. The supported platforms were PlayStation, PlayStation 3, PSP, PS Vita, Nintendo DS, Microsoft Windows, Sega Saturn. So I guess start with I guess I guess go with your pros and cons of Resident Evil 1. We'll start with Teddy.
Okay. The pros were it was the OG. It introduced a bunch of people to a genre that was already super big over in Japan, but not really big over here because people are too obsessed with like Final Fantasy and stuff like that over here. Um, so it introduced them into a new line of like games. Um, Another pro of it is it was very effective with some of its scares, and if you didn't like necessarily know like some aspects of it, you would feel the anxiety that character would actually feel, as like the roof is about to crush you down, crush over your head, and you're trying to get the hell out of there because you just grabbed a shotgun that you thought it was okay to grab, and now you're almost about to be crushed to death. So stuff like that I found like it was really cool. So as far as my cons go, tank controls are shit. I hate tank controls. Um, as far as Resident Evil 1 goes, I will say like 2 and 3 had better tank controls. Um, but outside of like I didn't like the some of the characters felt like weirdly placed also in the game, like without explanation, and like how they did it in the HD remake where they explored it a bit more. Some of those people felt kind of out of place. Um, So those were a few of my cons.
Okay. And now Davis, pros and cons.
Kind of not meaning to really echo what Teddy said, but like it was for a lot of Americans and people around my age, it was one of the first like survival horror type games. And they're right when they talk about the scare factor, especially in the very beginning when you go, especially if you pick Chris, because you're like, oh, I'm gonna be the guy or whatever, whatever about back when you're younger or whatever, and you don't have a gun, you just have the knife, and you go to that first zombie, and he just turns around and looks at you, and you're like, oh shit, and you're like, you have to run away and then whatever. But anyway, but yeah, just like the dogs jumping through the windows, and just there's all kinds of little moments that if you weren't prepared, oof. And
opening the front door after the dogs chase you in there, and the dog jumps in, and you got the one in the lobby now.
Yep. But yeah, this stuff like that. I say for the time, the story was pretty interesting. Like the voice acting, no, but the story of like how it was told and whatnot was pretty interesting.
So.
But and as far as cons, I mean, the tank controls, yeah, I agree, they're a little rough. Also, the mansion, like there's lights on, like everywhere is like bright and shit. Like those were supposed to be abandoned, but you find out other things later on. But like, I don't know. And then I don't know, depending on which version you're playing, you get weird music.
Yep, the director's cut with the really fucking weird music.
Yep. But I mean, other than that, it's a fun game. I will recommend, and you may disagree with me on this, but if anybody wants to play the original version, get the DS version.
The DS version?
Yes, the DS version.
Well, I can tell you which one not to get, and that's the Game Boy Color version. It was bad. It was so grainy and so fucking.
The Game Boy Color version.
Yes, look it up. It was actually.
Oh yeah. The beta. That's right.
It was so bad.
Yeah. I've heard the Saturn version has some like cool features that like no other version has.
So probably with its lighting and effects, because I know the Dreamcast and the Sega Saturn had very unique visual aspects that they won't like port over. The same thing happened with the Phantasy Star Online games.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you played on Dreamcast, you will notice it looks so much better than the GameCube version or the version that's on PC.
Mm-hmm.
Because it has different visual effects.
Okay. Is there any closing arguments you guys got against any of you have against each other's pros and cons?
Not really. I mean, it was a really solid game. Like you can eventually get used to the tank controls.
Yeah.
So like those aren't even too bad of a problem. I'm just not personally a fan of tank controls.
Okay.
But no, it was a good solid OG game, and
Yeah.
the director's cut had some like wonky shit in it too. But at least it was for the memes. We both agree that the voice acting was horrible.
Yeah.
And the reason I say the DS version is because you get most of the stuff that was added in director's cut, which I also believe they fixed the music. You still have the censored opening, but you can skip door scenes. It just runs really well. And if you get like a proper emulator and get it all set up right, it plays pretty well in my opinion. Has a fun little rebirth mode too, where like you have first person knife swiping and stuff, but you can still play classic mode. And it's just like playing the old game.
First person knife, I love that. That's like reminds me of like House of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first person style.
Just have to interrupt real quick. JR's in here trashing you, Kyle.
What?
He said
you're trashing you for not inviting him.
Yeah, he said you suck for not inviting him.
Hi, JR. We love you.
Hi, buddy. All right. let's go. Let's see. To finish this up, let's go. I got just two more questions for each of you, and then CC, if you have anything you want to add to it, feel free to. Start with. We'll go with Teddy. Teddy, favorite moment from the game.
From the first game, honestly, my favorite moment of the game is when you're first introduced to Tyrant. I think really my main love for the series came from its like staple main baddie guy. Yes, Wesker was kind of the dick behind the scenes pulling the strings, but ultimately your main villain that you fight is Tyrant. And the first time I ever fought him, I was scared shitless, and he like one shot me. So like I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is happening. Um, but yeah, like when you're introduced to him, he's just like an oppressive threat, like right off the bat, and I think that was kind of like the favorite thing about that game was because of how oppressive he was.
All right. And Davis, favorite part of the game.
Maybe a little cliche to say this, but the first time you see a zombie, like that first cut scene when you go in the room and the zombie just turns around, and like I said, you're like, oh shit. And especially if you're playing as Chris, you're like, all I have is a knife, and you try to swipe it, and it's like it's not gonna die. That was
Man, that knife still to this day is super OP against bosses though. They may not do jack shit on fucking normal zombies, but you can take down a full ass tyrant just with a knife pretty easily.
Dude, knife only runs are insane. I'm just like, how in the hell?
I fucking love watching speedruns of them.
But I just have one final question for both of you before I go this. CC, do you have any questions? No,
I'm good right now.
All right. Just feel free to interject anytime.
Think of questions.
Yeah, and if there's any questions in chat, just let us know. All right, so to close this the first game off, Teddy, where would you rank this out of the entire franchise?
I believe in my actual rankings, I had it in my top 3.
Okay. And Davis?
You're muted.
You're muted.
How about now?
Yeah,
you're good.
Cool. I didn't think about rankings. Where would I put the first game? Fuck. I'd probably say top 5. At least top 10 or top. I'll say top 5. I don't know where. I'd have to think about it more. But I would at least say top 5, maybe.
Yeah.
3 or 4. I'd have to think about it to really say, but it's fun.
All right, hold on 1 second. I can tell you my official ranking. Okay, so I had it. I think it was like a toss up between Resident Evil 7 and OG Resident Evil at number 5. That's what it was.
Oh shit, Joey's in my chat.
All right. And moving on, we're moving on to Resident Evil 2 that was released on January 21st, 1998.
The best game.
Ooh. Spoiler alert, it's my favorite in the franchise. I guess we'll start with we'll start with Davis this time. Davis, pros and cons of Resident Evil 2.
Let's see. Pros and cons of Resident Evil 2. The pros, it literally just improved. It seemed like it just improved everything about the first game. Let's see how to put it. Like, the controls felt a little bit better. Well, a little bit better. It's still tank controllers. It's still not the best. I like the city setting a little bit more than just one singular mansion. Although you do spend, like, it kind of feels like 90% of the game in the damn police station. I like the characters. Leon's cool. Claire's cool. Let's see. Liquors are amazing. But as far as cons for Resident Evil 2, still tank controls, unless you play the N64 version, which is very interesting.
Never. I hated the N64 version.
Oh, here.
I was super salty about it because back in the day I had the PlayStation 2 version, or the PlayStation version, and it had the 2 discs, and I was like, how the hell did they fit 2 discs worth of games on the one damn cartridge? I was like, that's kind of bullshit that I paid for 2 discs.
Right. So, side note to that, I can't remember the company that did the conversion for RE2 to make it from PS1 to N64, but their original idea was to put Final Fantasy VII on the N64. yeah. Because apparently it's really not. Apparently their compression technology could have done it, but I want to say Nintendo was like nah, or maybe it's probably Square. One of them was like no, but
I think their relationship for a while was kind of soured.
Oh,
due
yeah.
to the fact that they went on to Sony for the Final Fantasy 7 and 8.
yeah.
And not really sit on any Nintendo franchise. So I think that's what kind of soured their relationship until like Crystal Chronicles and stuff like that moving forward, and Tactics Advanced.
Yeah. Maybe I'll come up with some more stuff, but I'm trying to think of things that I don't like about 2, and maybe when you throw your stuff, I'll come up with some more things. But I guess you do spend. It feels like way too much time in the police station. I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and let you have the floor, Teddy, because I'm sure you'll come up with some stuff, and I'll agree or disagree or whatever.
So pros, everything that you just said about like the adding on that, what I would consider pretty solid controls for Resident Evil 1. They made them like a little bit like more better, like more fluid. Um, I loved exploring the city aspect of it. I felt like it felt really like a bigger game. Um, the 2 stories between Claire and Leon plus their B versions were really good.
Yeah, I didn't think about the whole like scenario thing where depending on who you play as first affects who you play as second, and there's like technically like I think 4 ways you can play the game in a way.
Yep. There's no shortage of ways you can play that game. That's why it's one of my pros. As far as cons go, it has a steep curve. When I say steep curve, I literally mean the start of the game. You come up from a police car, and there's like literally 20 zombies in front of you. And if you're playing normal mode, you only have 15 rounds of ammo.
That's very true. That first bit, if you're not ready to book it, or if you think you're going to sit there and shoot everybody, no, you run.
Yeah,
run.
And if you've never played a Resident Evil game before, your instinct is, well, I'm going to try to shoot them all. And you're not going to run, and you're going to die. And that's essentially what happened to me as a kid. I was like, this is fucking stupid. Went to go play Final Fantasy 7 anyways.
Yep.
Came back at Resident Evil 3. Also, I would say I didn't like some of Birkin's transformations. I felt like in the OG version, Mr. X didn't get as much love as William Birkin did. It was more Leon focused than it was Claire focused through the series. And I'm glad they fixed that with the remake, honestly. Like I felt like it was very like not one side or the other, but like coinciding, like it should be. And honestly, I hated the Sherry Birkin, like when you used Sherry Birkin and you had to run from the dogs and shit like that. That was like a big con for me because like on normal mode, a dog could like attack you once and put you in critical. So like I thought that was kind of like a really annoying part to deal with.
Oh
But
yeah.
the rest of the game was pretty solid.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything any of you want to say towards each other's pros and cons?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I mean, I absolutely agree that it feels like parts of it are way too long in the police station. Um, it makes sense though, like based around like what actually happens in
Yeah.
game, but like from an outside perspective, you do spend the majority of the game in the police station. Um, I think that part is kind of meh, but it gave us some really cool scenes, like the liquor. How you're first introduced to the liquor was fantastic.
I
Fuck.
agree.
Fucker's crawling on the ceiling, you're like, and then it sticks its tongue out, you're like, oh my god.
The part that fucking used to fucking freak me out as a kid is when you go to walk in the door where you eventually meet the liquor and he scurries across the glass there.
Right, yeah.
Oh, that used to scare the hell out of me. Until I got to Resident Evil 3 and then Nemesis like kind of took the cake with my my most like infamous scare in the police station.
Good God Almighty. Sorry. I wanna put up a not a defense. Yeah, I guess a defense for the N64 version. I want to talk about it a little bit because even though it looks and sounds like shit compared to the PS1 version, that like freaking 360 movement, you push down, you go down or back, you push left, like there's no tank controllers, and it's I think there's probably something at this point because the modding communities are amazing, but if we could get like the PS1 graphics and cutscenes and all that with the N64 controls, I think that would be amazing. And what bugs the piss out of me is that Resident Evil 2 has been ported to Dreamcast, to GameCube, and still it's always the tank controls. It's always the DualShock version they're porting. I'm like, why didn't they take the N64 version, input the better assets, just give us I think they call it the first person camera or first person movement, where you can move all around and whatnot. I don't know.
The cons about it though is literally it's an N64 controller. Those things broke way too easily. Like they were awkward to hold. Like if you wanted to like hold it like this, you could barely reach the joystick, and the joysticks always broke and like would go limp on one side. My father had Resident Evil 2 on the N64. I didn't think it looked that bad, but like I absolutely hated the fact that like I had to spend more money to get like the same game because they put it all on a cartridge. But then again, that's why it looked like shit, I guess.
Yeah.
But like I don't like the N64 controller, so I didn't really like the N64 games a lot, really, outside of like Donkey Kong.
You're about to start a whole nother debate. But no, I mean, yeah, I understand. Like I had the N64 forever, so I guess I got used to it. And it depends on what game you're playing, how you hold it. But just to be able to move any way you want to. Like I can't stress enough how much that is in the let's see how to put this. How much freedom that gives you in like a tank control game where you can literally go anywhere and you can
have to wait to spin around to go in another direction.
Yeah. Like the opening scene where the explosion, the zombies all around you can just zigzag all through them. They'll never touch you. I don't just a quick little comment. Mr. Stealthweb, which is Joey, which is my best friend and Kyle's roommate, talks about they never get to play Resident Evil 2. And spelled 2 is TOO. But apparently they beat it. What the? Okay, I can't. Okay, Joey, I can't make out your comment. He typed it weird. I'm just gonna ignore it. Everyone else is fine, just not Stealth Web. But yeah, I don't know. There's my defense on the N64 version, and why couldn't we have that with the GameCube or Dreamcast?
The GameCube would have made sense for them to port over like the controls from the N64 because it's technology they already had existing within the Nintendo system. So it wouldn't have been too hard to recreate that. I'm not sure why they did it, because you only really have like the one joystick. Like the other one, the C stick, is not like for movement in any way, shape, or form. So like whereas the DualShock had like the two after a while, just it made no sense that they wouldn't have just ported that over.
Exactly.
All right. So I'm gonna use the last two questions for pretty much all the games. But I'm gonna add one to the first question that I meant to add on the first one, but it's too late now. We'll start with Teddy. Give me your favorite and worst part of the game.
Favorite part, I would say probably is I just said it. Is honestly the part where Mr. X shows up. Um, After you put out the burning helicopter and he kind of like shows the fuck up and you're like, oh, there's this guy in a room full of like crows that I just also had to kill. So now I gotta run from all of those things. Um, I personally, like I said, I thought Mr. X didn't get as much love in the OG Resident Evil 2 game as William Birkin did. As far as the worst part, I would say probably I feel like it's kind of tied between operating Sherry Birkin and being the opening sequence with Leon or Claire in scenario A, when you have all those zombies and you have to make your way to Keno's gun shop. Like I there's no reason for that many zombies at the beginning of a game. If it weren't for me like getting used to it in Resident Evil 3, um, in a lesser way, then I probably would have not come back to Resident Evil because it was like too hard. It was like ridiculously too hard for me at the time.
Okay. Same question for you, Davis. What favorite and worst part?
So favorite. Hang on one second.
So professional.
I know. If it wasn't my girlfriend texting me, I wouldn't have cared that much, but she's kind of important. Anyway, favorite part. Probably the first time you see the liquor. Like that's so iconic, but I mean, also I do like when you see Mr. X, you're like, oh, okay, oh god, he's huge. And like we'll get to it in a minute with 3, but it's like the or actually, I think he's an advanced form of Nemesis or the prototype of Nemesis or something like
So
that.
he's a proto.
Yeah.
So Nemesis is a certain classification of tyrant.
Yeah.
So Mr. X is actually on par with the OG tyrant.
Yeah. And then another cool part that I just thought of while sitting here, like here's a part where you fight a giant fucking alligator or crocodile.
Oh yeah, in the sewer.
Yeah. But what's so bad about that though is like you can just run back, drop the fire extinguisher or whatever it is, and shoot him in the face, and it's like the fight's over with. I don't think you can actually fight him normally where you just shoot him. I think that's the only way you can kill him.
So you can. Basically, you would just have to wait for him to try to snap at you and shoot when his mouth is like lunging at you.
Gotcha.
But nobody ever does that. They literally just run up,
No.
knock over the canister, and blow it up. That's why it's that way in the remake, because that was the scenario that everybody did anyways.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you said the worst part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that beginning bit is really rough, especially if you've never played a Resident Evil, or even for playing it the first time, you think maybe I could actually do something. You can't. But also just I know I kept harping on it earlier, but just the fact that like half the game or so is in the damn police station. You're just always in there running back and forth, running the same few rooms. Oh, you get a key. Oh, I can go in this new room, but it's the same aesthetic. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with that, but like I just want to take a minute. Can we give love to like the just in general when it comes to like Mr. X, like I feel, or Kendo as well. Kendo is like, that man went through shit. Like, in the original game, like he walks next to like a window of like his gun shop, and then like 5 or 6 zombies just like fucking gouge his fucking entirety out of his body, and then in the fucking remake they make it his daughter that's infected that bites him and turns him. Like, that man can't catch a goddamn break.
Nope. Oh, it's fun. It's funny too, especially if you're playing as Claire. He's like, "Well, don't you worry, girlie. I got this all taken care of." Zombies.
Yep.
To add to Teddy's love for Mr. X, I will say one of the things I remember most about playing Resident Evil 2. I can't remember the exact part, but I know I was playing as Leon. There was some kind of, I think it was a candle puzzle on a wall, and I was in the middle of doing it, and Mr. X just comes busting through a fucking wall beside me, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yep.
Yeah, Mr. X does that. That's
Yeah.
Mr. X.
It was insane. And then I like that y'all brought up the alligator, because I think it's as Leon. That's like one of my most memorable scenes was playing as Leon, running into Ada, and all of a sudden that fucking alligator comes out of nowhere. Just out of nowhere, like there's no warning, nothing. It's just like, whoa, what the hell?
Yep.
I like going through there as Hunk too, like going up to the ceiling to be extracted.
Ooh,
and having to deal with the croc there as well.
Oh yeah, that actually reminds me. I think.
For the one gifted sub.
You're welcome.
But anyway,
I think we got favoritism on the moderation team over here.
sounds like it. But anyway, what I was gonna.
He's just here to spray me with water if I get too off the handle. We know this.
I will die if CC walks in that room and sprays you with a bottle of water.
That'd be hilarious.
Well, she would have to come up here to get the spray bottle, which is in the room anyways.
That'd be hilarious.
We're gonna be in the middle of a hot debate on Resident Evil 4 or something. She's just gonna sneak in there and do it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure the Raccoon City stories, I think that's what it's called, is going to be the one that's going to be a hot debate.
We'll get there though. We'll get there.
Right? Oh, you mean Outbreak?
Not Outbreak. It's the one that's. It's basically like a SOCOM copy, but with a Resident Evil skin.
Oh, Umbrella. It's either Umbrella Chronicles or Operation Raccoon City.
Operation Raccoon City. Yeah, I feel like that one's going to get heated.
We'll see. But before we could.
Before we get there though. We'll go ahead and...
No. This is the Kyle Prescott stream now. Go ahead.
What was you gonna say?
I was gonna mention that Resident Evil 2 was the first time we got what was back then called the Extreme Battle Mode, which I guess eventually kind of evolved into what became Mercenaries, where basically you just run through killing as much as you can, trying to escape, and that was fun. I just wanted to mention that. I'll shut up now.
Okay. All right. Well,
it also had tofu. You can play the game as a giant piece of tofu.
Yep, we just know. Oh, did you? I don't know. Did you ever see the magazine or the tips and tricks or whatever? There was like an April Fool's joke where they said you could unlock Akuma in Resident Evil 2. You ever hear about that? Yep. Back then, man, yep.
That was funny as shit back in the day. There was so much stuff that they claimed you could unlock by doing stupid shit in there, and it's like, no, you're just gonna break the game, or it's not gonna work.
Yep. You can move the truck and get Mew and Pokemon.
Yep.
All right. Back to Teddy.
Yes, sir.
Where would you rank this?
Resident Evil 2. Sorry, my list went away. I'm pretty sure I had. This was not within my top 5. It's gonna. I liked it for what it was, but the learning curve there was there. I had other mental attachments to some of the other ones, so those were partial big reasons on why I picked them. It's not necessarily whether or not I think that they were a better game overall that I would debate that. It's just I have more of an attachment to them. That's why they're higher on my list.
Gotcha.
It's a solid game. I would rank it if I had to give it a top 10. It'd probably be like sixth place. Um, just because like my fifth place alternates between Resident Evil 7 and OG Resident Evil, so like kind of flip flops back and forth sometimes. But I think that Resident Evil, if like I'm more feeling Resident Evil 7, then obviously Resident Evil 2 is better than the OG.
Okay. And Davis?
Number one.
Question.
Number
Wow,
number
that was
one.
Quick. That was quick. I mean, I'm right with you.
Maybe I'm biased because I did play Resident Evil 2 more than like I actually owned Resident Evil 2, whereas I went to my uncle's and played the first game. So maybe I'm biased that way, but just I don't know, just something about 2, and then you get the remake and you're just like, it's the best thing ever.
Yeah. I'll tell you though that it took me a while to play Resident Evil 2 because I had it and my mom and dad wanted to play it. And they got really into it, and they'd always tell me, they'd let me play when they died, and then they never died. Like both of them beat both discs before I ever got to play Resident Evil 2.
I mean, that's how my dad was. My dad was like, y'all can play the game after I beat it. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna sit here and watch you do it, so I don't have
That's what I did. Yeah, I just watched them play.
That's where my streaming love came from, and watching everybody on Twitch and shit.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, going to the third installment in the franchise.
Ooh, hold on. I just got a notification. Let me see what that was. What was that?
Womp womp womp.
That was released on September 22nd, 1999. We're talking about.
While we are waiting for him to check his notifications, just to let everybody know on my stream real quick, I am going to run a 60-second ad break. If you do not want to see them, you can always subscribe to my channel or use your Twitch Prime and subscribe for free.
Right.
Or you could just pop over to my stream and watch there.
Hey, listen.
Open up another tab to my stream. That way he still gets the credit for watching the ads.
Listen.
What?
They can't hear you because they're on.
God damn it! Well, I would like to thank Cece and Bandos Bomber for the follows.
Woo!
I can't get to your stream to follow you yet.
Oh! I see how it is.
Oh wow! You follow each other.
Big old Twitch affiliate over here won't follow the little small people that never stream.
I'll do it on this computer for you, Teddy.
I'm already on it.
I'm just being a shit. If I streamed more, I probably could have affiliate by now. But God, having a real job, I have to deal with people all day.
I mean, that's a mood.
Did you get my text, Edward?
Go ahead and mute your stream real quick, because I don't want to hear my feedback. Boom.
Oh.
All right. There you go.
Everybody ready?
I mean, yeah. I think we're
so,
back on stream.
All right. So anyways, we're back, and we are talking about the third installment, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
Some loser called Cuzcats89 just followed me. Thank you.
Rude ass.
Anyway, before I was rudely interrupted, you don't interrupt the moderator while he's talking. So.
Who's streaming? Who's streaming, Prescott? Whose stream is this? Mine and Teddy's. That's what I thought you said.
Anyway, we're gonna start with Davis on this.
We are.
Davis, pros and cons of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
Oh shit! Hold on, I done fucked up. Okay. Pros and cons of 3.
Hey, real quick, I do want to let everybody know that Cece is actually getting kind of tired, so she's gonna hop off stream.
Cool.
See.
I'll be going up there in the room to lay down.
Yeah, you'll see her lay down in a couple of seconds.
It's just
Gotcha.
it's late and I'm downstairs still. So
Gotcha.
thank you guys and keep
Nothing.
watching, please, if you're here.
Night.
That means Prescott, you need to bring up the chat.
Yep.
Yes, you do. Yep. Because my phone's down.
I mean, because
I'll
I'm
bring it up when I lay down too. So I'm gonna play.
I'm not gonna be paying attention to fucking chat.
I'm disconnecting from here though.
Gotcha.
I'm so bad about that. Like Cece's like, hey, you guys should talk to people in chat, and I'm like, there are people in my chat right now.
Yeah.
It's just how my stream is set up. My main screen's to the right instead of the left. So
Yeah.
like I usually have it to the left where I don't turn my head as much.
My problem is that I'm doing everything off a laptop, and I'm like trying to have it where I can see y'all and see the chat and see Teddy's chat and but okay, so pros and cons of 3. Pros of 3 would be Nemesis. Some of the weapons that you got, well, I think you only get this on easy mode, but there was a cool machine gun you could get in 3, which is pretty neat. It's both a pro and a con to me, but like mixing your own ammo, that was like cool, but also I don't want to say dumb, but just annoying, I guess would probably be a good word. Some of the cons, probably way too many reused assets from 2. Which I think it came out. Kyle, can you look real quick? How far from 2 did 3 come out?
That was like a year, I believe.
It was.
Was it a full year?
It was 1 year.
Wow, I thought it was less than a year.
Well, originally it wasn't supposed to come out. It was supposed to be something completely different that they just ended up reusing assets for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like a year and some months.
Gotcha. And I guess like I said with I guess what I said with 2, I'll probably know more as Teddy does, and I'll probably have more opinions. But that's at the moment all I can really think of. I mean, just Nemesis. God. Go ahead, Teddy.
Okay, so pros. Yes, you got an assault rifle. That was super helpful for all the zombies you did have to take out at the beginning because they learned from Resident Evil 2 and said, we're not going to put you up against a stupid amount of zombies without giving you some heavy hitting firepower. Now, that being said, if you go up in difficulty, yeah, you're going to lose the weapon, but you're at a higher difficulty, you should know at that point in time to conserve your ammo and stuff like that. Nemesis is the don't you squirt me squirt bottle and everything. So I honestly I liked making the more ammo. I found that it gave me control over not worrying as much about having to ration shotgun shells versus making handgun bullets. I liked how I could redirect my flow. Maybe I didn't want to carry around my handgun past like getting the shotgun.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, now I could just keep making shotgun ammo, grenade launcher ammo, etc., etc. It gave you a fucking 4-on-4 rocket missile launcher.
I forgot about that.
And the Mercenaries mode was the most fun and the most replayable thing ever. And it's actually how I learned to start speed running Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil 3's mechanics. It's because I would get progressively faster at killing zombies, knowing what certain frames meant, like, whether or not you got a headshot on them or where you didn't. I learned a lot of that through the Mercenaries mode. So I eventually took that over to speedrunning it. Cons, as far as cons goes, I understand the nice callback to Resident Evil 2 by having you go through like a very small part of the police station. Because she was Stars. You know, it made sense to have her go there for something because the Stars office was there. But it's supposed to coexist in timeline with Resident Evil 2, like they're supposed to take place essentially at the same time. And you will go through there in Resident Evil 3 and there'd be like handgun powder or like, you know, in the same lockers that you would go in Resident Evil 2, and there would be like a lockpick or like a key for a keypad or like a grenade or something. So
Mhm.
that was kind of weird, like to me, to go, well, why couldn't have Leon found the gunpowder to make his own bullets? Like, I didn't understand why they chose to implement that only in Resident Evil 3. Yeah, those are my only cons, really, is that, like, I didn't really like the fact that, you know, the coexist, like, even though it's supposed to coexist, there was the disconnect in a lot of the rooms that you would revisit and what would be there. As well as it felt short, in my opinion. And I
Yeah.
will get into that when we get to the Resident Evil 3 game, the remake, or 3 make as some people call it. I have a very major argument that a lot of people make towards it that I just want to absolutely destroy. But yeah, those are my pros and cons for Resident Evil 3.
So, real quick, Prescott,
Yo,
can you put on headphones?
can I put on headphones?
Yeah,
There's a slight echo.
there's an occasional feedback echo from either me or Teddy sometimes when we're talking, and it looks like it's coming through on your end.
Yeah, it pops up because you can see the green square.
Hold on 1 second.
I'm
Nope.
gonna take this opportunity to take a bite of this burger. This debate turned into a mukbang, y'all.
My cat just went meow. I'm actually, I want to take, if you don't mind, can we take like a quick couple second break? I want to get me something to drink.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you want to run an ad or whatever, be right back.